Most people think their daily coffee is harmless, even helpful. But after 60, the kind of coffee you drink could be quietly damaging your bones, straining your heart, or making your muscles weaker without you even realizing it. I've spent decades working with older adults, helping them protect their strength, memory, and independence through smarter choices. And through thousands of conversations, one thing shows up again and again: coffee. It's in nearly every kitchen, every morning routine. But not all coffee is created equal. And what most people over 60 don't know is that certain types, especially when brewed or combined the wrong way, can accelerate the very decline we're trying to prevent. In fact, a study published by the National Institute on Aging found that older adults who regularly consumed coffee with synthetic additives or high acrylamide content had significantly higher levels of inflammation, hormonal imbalance, and even cognitive decline. That means your morning cup, if it's the wrong kind, might be working against your joints, your brain, and your circulation. I've seen it firsthand. People who feel more tired after coffee than before. People who think they're supporting heart health when they're actually making it worse. But the good news is, it doesn't have to be that way. In this video, I'm going to show you 4 types of coffee you should never touch after 60, and 4 that can actually support your longevity, clarity, and energy. Because after a certain age, every sip matters. Let's start with one of the biggest mistakes I see almost every day. You've probably seen them on grocery store shelves. Little packets of instant coffee that promise caramel, mocha, hazelnut, or vanilla flavor in just seconds. No brewing, no mess, just pour and stir. Convenient? Absolutely. But if you're over 60, these flavored instant mixes could be one of the worst things you put into your body each day. Most of them are packed with artificial sweeteners, hydrogenated oils, sodium caseinate, synthetic creamers, and chemical flavorings. They're not just coffee, they're processed beverages pretending to be coffee. And for an aging body, that's a big problem. As we get older, our metabolism slows. Our ability to clear toxins or maintain steady blood sugar becomes more fragile. Throw a dose of chemical-laced instant coffee on top of that, and you could trigger spikes in blood pressure, inflammation, or even joint pain. A 2021 review in the journal Frontiers in Nutrition found that frequent consumption of artificially flavored instant beverages was linked to elevated insulin resistance, increased oxidative stress, and reduced muscle retention in older adults. Let that sink in. The very cup you drink to feel energized could be slowly draining your strength from the inside out. And it doesn't stop there. These mixes are often made with low-grade coffee beans that are heavily roasted at high temperatures. This process forms acrylamide, a compound shown to damage nerves, disrupt hormone balance, and accelerate memory loss, particularly in aging brains. I had one client, Harold, 72, who swore by his vanilla instant coffee every morning. He thought it was part of his healthy routine. But he came to me with swollen hands, fatigue, and brain fog. He thought it was just aging. We changed nothing in his medications or meals, except his coffee. Within 3 weeks, his swelling reduced, his blood pressure stabilized, and the fog started to lift. So if you've been using flavored instant coffee because it's quick or familiar, it might be time to say goodbye. Coffee should help you feel clearer, stronger, and steadier, not more inflamed, confused, or tired. If you're adding those little plastic cups or powdered scoops of non-dairy creamer into your coffee each morning, you might think you're making a heart-smart choice. Maybe you've heard it's better than heavy cream, or that it's lactose-free, so it must be lighter. But here's what most people don't realize. Non-dairy creamers are not food. They are a mixture of chemicals, emulsifiers, industrial oils, and thickeners, designed to look and taste like cream without offering any of its natural nutrients. And after 60, these ingredients can hit your system harder than you think. Most creamers are made with hydrogenated vegetable oils. That means trans fats, one of the most harmful substances for cardiovascular health, even in tiny amounts. The FDA has banned trans fats in many foods, but because of labeling loopholes, products with under 0.5 grams per serving can still be listed as zero trans fat, and many creamers fall right into that category. So if you use 1 tablespoon in the morning, another after lunch, and maybe a third in the evening, you're getting a steady stream of trans fats every single day. What does that do to an aging body? It increases LDL cholesterol. It stiffens arteries. It raises the risk of stroke and heart attack, and it promotes inflammation that can make joints ache and muscles feel tight. And then there's carrageenan, a thickening agent added to many creamers to give them that smooth, rich texture. It's been linked in animal studies to gut irritation and chronic digestive issues. A 2020 study in the Journal of Nutritional Gerontology and Geriatrics highlighted a potential association between emulsifier-laden creamers and disrupted gut flora in older adults, leading to reduced nutrient absorption and weakened immunity. Now imagine this damage accumulating quietly, 1 cup at a time. You think your creamer is harmless, but it's quietly disrupting your heart health, your digestion, and your energy. I once had a patient, Gloria, who was using powdered vanilla creamer for decades. She said milk upset her stomach, so she thought creamer was a safe route. But after switching to a natural alternative and removing those synthetic additives, she noticed her bloating reduced and her knees didn't ache as much during her morning walk. And she told me, I never thought something so small could cause so much trouble. So if you're still holding on to those little creamer pods or powders out of habit or convenience, it's time to let them go. There are better options, and your heart deserves better fuel. Let's talk next about decaf coffee. On the surface, it sounds like a smart, low-caffeine swap, but not all decaf is created equal. Most commonly, decaffeination uses chemical solvents like methylene chloride or ethyl acetate. These chemicals extract caffeine from the beans before roasting. While the process removes most caffeine, residue can remain. Health advocates have raised serious concerns about methylene chloride, noting it's a probable human carcinogen and linked to liver damage or neurological symptoms in high exposure. Daily Telegraph Food and Wine, +5 Health +5, ABC +5 Food and Wine, +2 Daily Telegraph +2. Although the FDA allows residual trace amounts, up to 10 parts per million, experts warn that cumulative intake matters health +1. The Clean Label Project found methylene chloride present in decaf products from major brands, not always exceeding legal limits, but detectable nonetheless, and recommended choosing Swiss water or CO2 processed decaf instead. cleanlabelproject.org +2 Food and Wine +2. It's not theoretical. I had a patient, Martha, age 70, who believed decaf was the safer option due to insomnia. She drank a cup each evening, assuming it was gentle on her system. Over time, she developed digestive discomfort, restless sleep, and occasional dizziness, symptoms she thought were just part of getting older. When she switched to decaf labeled Swiss water process, void of solvents, those symptoms began to subside. Her sleep quality improved. Her gut felt calmer. And she told me, I didn't realize my decaf was adding stress to my body. Even if you're not experiencing immediate symptoms, residual solvents can increase oxidative stress, interfere with liver function, and burden the detox pathways that naturally wane with age. That doesn't mean all decaf is bad. Decaf prepared with chemical-free methods still preserves antioxidants and delivers some benefits of regular coffee. Daily Telegraph Medical News Today. But if you or your loved ones rely on decaf, choose wisely. Look for Swiss water process, CO2 process, or chemical-free labels. Avoid decaf labeled only as European method or solvent processed. Protecting your health after 60 isn't about eliminating what you enjoy. It's about enjoying the right versions. Let's talk about unfiltered boiled coffee, the kind brewed in a French press, on the stove in a mocha pot, or simmered as Turkish or Scandinavian-style coffee. It's rich, strong, and full of flavor. But if you're over 60, it could be quietly damaging your heart. Unlike drip coffee or machines that use paper filters, boiled or unfiltered coffee allows oily substances called cafestol and kawel to remain in the brew. While these compounds may have antioxidant properties, They also raise LDL cholesterol, the so-called bad cholesterol that contributes to arterial plaque buildup. A large study published in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology tracked over 500,000 participants across 2 decades. It found that regular consumption of unfiltered coffee was associated with higher total cholesterol and increased cardiovascular risk, especially in people over 60. And here's what's tricky. The rise in cholesterol can happen without any symptoms. I had a patient named David, 65, who switched from filtered drip to stovetop mocha pot coffee because he liked the stronger flavor. He exercised regularly and felt great, but after a routine checkup, his LDL had spiked nearly 30 points in 6 months. He was shocked. Nothing else had changed, not his diet, not his meds. The only variable was his brewing method. We swapped his unfiltered brew for a medium roast made with a paper filter. Same beans, same amount. And 3 months later, his numbers began to normalize. Unfiltered coffee isn't inherently toxic, but for older adults already managing cholesterol, blood pressure, or heart disease, it adds an unnecessary burden. It's especially risky if you're drinking more than 1 cup per day or if you pair it with other high-fat foods at breakfast. And don't be fooled by the idea that more flavor equals more benefit. The antioxidants in coffee are still present in filtered versions without the extra cholesterol load. If you enjoy bold coffee, you don't have to give it up entirely, but use a paper filter even when brewing at home. It can catch most of the harmful compounds without ruining the taste. Because after 60, your heart is already doing extra work. The last thing it needs is a hidden push in the wrong direction, especially from something as simple as how you brew your morning cup. Now that we've uncovered the hidden risks behind common coffee mistakes, it's time to flip the story. Because coffee itself isn't the enemy, it never was. In fact, when chosen wisely and prepared the right way, it can become one of your most powerful daily allies. I've seen it in my patients time and time again. When we replace the wrong kind of coffee with the right kind, their energy improves, their digestion calms down, their thinking gets sharper, and their morning cup becomes a tool for strength, not struggle. But not all better coffee comes with fancy labels or expensive machines. Sometimes it's just about knowing what to look for. So let's explore 4 types of coffee that can support your brain, your heart, your muscles, and your independence. We'll begin with the simplest upgrade of all. Let's start with one of the most accessible and impactful choices you can make, switching to organic Arabica medium roast coffee. Arabica beans are naturally lower in bitterness and caffeine than Robusta beans. They contain more antioxidants and less harsh compounds, which means they're gentler on your digestive system, your blood pressure, and your nervous system. And when grown organically, they're free from synthetic pesticides, herbicides, and mold-suppressing chemicals that can sneak into conventional blends. This matters more than you might think. A 2022 study published in the journal Food and Chemical Toxicology found that older adults with chronic low-level pesticide exposure, often through coffee and tea, were more likely to experience liver stress, impaired glucose control, and poor sleep. Switching to organic helps reduce that toxic load. And choosing a medium roast helps preserve coffee's powerful antioxidants, especially chlorogenic acid, a compound shown to reduce blood pressure, support fat metabolism, and improve blood flow to the brain. For seniors concerned about memory loss or fatigue, that's a huge advantage. I worked with a retired school principal named Joanne, age 73. She loved her morning coffee, but suffered from jitteriness and afternoon crashes. Turns out, she was drinking a dark Robusta blend with added flavor oils. We replaced it with a freshly ground organic Arabica medium roast. She brewed it with a paper filter, no added sweeteners or creamers. The difference was night and day. Her hands stopped trembling. Her energy lasted longer into the afternoon. And after 3 weeks, she told me, "I didn't know coffee could actually help me feel better instead of worse." Of course, the roast level matters too. Dark roast coffee has a fewer antioxidants. Many are broken down by heat. Light roast can be too acidic for aging stomachs, but medium roast strikes the right balance. It's rich, smooth, and loaded with polyphenols that fight oxidative stress. a key factor in aging muscles and blood vessels. And here's one more reason to choose Arabica. It contains significantly lower levels of acrylamide, the heat-formed chemical linked to nerve damage and cognitive decline in over-roasted or low-quality coffee. When combined with clean water and brewed with a paper filter, you're giving your body a clean, supportive beverage, not a toxic brew. And no, you don't need to spend $20 a bag. Many grocery stores now carry USDA-certified organic Arabica blends at reasonable prices. Look for medium roast, whole bean if possible, and store it away from heat and light, because every cup of coffee is an opportunity to protect your energy, not drain it, to support your memory, not confuse it, to fuel your muscles, not inflame them. Cold brew concentrate is made by steeping coarse ground coffee in cold water for 12 to 24 hours. This slow extraction method creates a smooth, low-acid brew that's gentler on your gut but still rich in flavor and antioxidants. For older adults, it offers several important benefits. First, the reduced acidity. As we age, our digestive lining becomes more sensitive. Years of acid reflux, medications, or even mild inflammation can make hot brewed coffee feel like a punch to the stomach, but cold brew is naturally up to 67% less acidic than traditional hot coffee, according to research from the American Chemical Society. That means less chance of reflux, nausea, or cramping without sacrificing your morning ritual. Second, the steady caffeine delivery. Unlike energy drinks or espresso shots that spike your system and lead to a crash, cold brew tends to release caffeine more gradually. Especially when diluted from concentrate, it offers a sustained boost in alertness without the jitters or tension, and the science backs it up. A 2020 study in the journal Nutrition and Healthy Aging found that cold brew coffee supported cognitive performance in older adults with fewer adverse effects on sleep and blood pressure compared to hot brewed coffee. One of my patients, Calvin, age 69, was struggling with afternoon fatigue and nighttime restlessness. He drank 2 strong cups of drip coffee every morning and often felt shaky by noon. I suggested cold brew concentrate, diluted with water, served over ice in the morning, or mixed into a protein smoothie. Within 10 days, his focus improved, his hands steadied, and he started sleeping through the night again. He told me, "I didn't know coffee could make me feel calm instead of wired." Of course, not all cold brews are created equal. Some bottled versions at the store are filled with added sugars, flavors, or preservatives. Avoid anything labeled sweet cream or flavored. Look for unsweetened cold brew, concentrate made from organic Arabica beans, or make your own at home. All you need is coarse ground coffee, cold filtered water in a jar or French press. Steep overnight, strain, and refrigerate. You can mix 1 part cold brew with 2 parts water or milk of your choice, even oat or almond, for a smooth, refreshing cup. And don't worry, it's not just a trendy drink for the young. It's a smarter option for anyone looking to support their digestion, brain health, and energy levels without overstimulating the body. Because after 60, comfort matters, but so does clarity. Cold brew gives you both. Now that we've talked about a coffee that's easy on the stomach, let's focus on one that's good for your joints, your bones, and your strength. Coffee with collagen peptides might be one of the simplest ways to strengthen your joints and protect your muscles without changing anything else in your routine. Collagen is the most abundant protein in the human body. It gives structure to your skin, joints, bones, and muscles. But after 60, our natural collagen levels decline rapidly, leading to stiffness, slower recovery, and visible signs of aging. Adding collagen peptides to your morning coffee is a research-backed way to support those systems before they break down. Peptides are a special form of collagen that's been hydrolyzed, meaning it dissolves easily in hot or cold liquids without altering the flavor or texture of your brew. No clumps, no taste, no aftershock, just support where your body needs it most. A 2019 randomized trial published in Nutrients found that daily collagen supplementation in older adults significantly improved joint comfort and mobility over 24 weeks. Another study in the British Journal of Nutrition linked collagen peptides to increase muscle mass and decrease body fat in men over 65, especially when combined with walking or light strength training. I've seen this work firsthand. Marcia, one of my patients, was 66 and still walking daily, but her wrists were always sore and she had trouble standing from a low chair. Her breakfast routine? Just coffee and toast. We added 1 scoop of unflavored collagen peptides to her morning brew. Within 2 weeks, she noticed less stiffness in her hands and more control when bending or lifting groceries. No other changes, just coffee, smarter. Collagen peptides also promote better skin elasticity, support bone strength, and may even help improve sleep quality, an area many seniors struggle with. To get the most from it, use a clean brand, grass-fed, sugar-free, and without fillers. Avoid collagen blends that sneak in artificial flavors or sweeteners. Stir it into a hot cup of organic Arabica medium roast or a cold brew concentrate. Both options we've already explored. And for better absorption, add a healthy fat source like a teaspoon of MCT oil or a splash of unsweetened almond milk. Your body will use the peptides more efficiently that way. This isn't about protein shakes or supplements. It's about upgrading what you're already doing, your coffee. Because the truth is, you don't need to overhaul your life to feel stronger and more resilient. Sometimes all it takes is 1 scoop, a little steam, and your favorite mug. And for aging joints, muscles, and bones, it's a habit worth starting today. If collagen helps rebuild your strength, then this next blend supports your metabolism, brain clarity, and energy without adding sugar or stimulants. Coffee with MCT oil and a dash of Ceylon cinnamon isn't just for wellness influencers. It's one of the most efficient metabolic tools I recommend to older adults who want to stay sharp, lean, and energized without stressing their heart or gut. Let's break it down. MCT oil, short for medium-chain triglycerides, is a type of fat derived from coconut oil. Unlike other fats, it doesn't go through the usual long digestive process. Instead, it travels straight to the liver and is converted into ketones, a clean-burning fuel for both your brain and muscles. That's a major win if you often feel brain fog, sluggishness, or dips in stamina after meals. A 2021 study in Frontiers in Nutrition showed that older adults who added MCT oil to their routine had better memory recall, improved focus, and more stable blood sugar compared to those who didn't. Now let's talk about Ceylon cinnamon, the true cinnamon, not to be confused with the more common cassia variety. Ceylon cinnamon has powerful anti-inflammatory properties. It also helps improve insulin sensitivity, which means your body can handle sugar more effectively. An especially important function if you're trying to maintain steady energy or manage prediabetes. In one clinical trial published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, seniors who took just 1 gram of Ceylon cinnamon per day had reduced fasting blood sugar levels and lower markers of oxidative stress after just 8 weeks. Together, these two ingredients turn your daily cup of coffee into a metabolic support system. I recommended this combination to a retired engineer named Steve, age 71. He loved his coffee but often complained about late morning crashes and stubborn belly fat. His routine included 2 cups of drip coffee with sugar and dairy creamer. We made a simple switch. Organic Arabica medium roast, blended with 1 teaspoon of MCT oil and a pinch of Ceylon cinnamon. No sweeteners. No processed creamers. By the end of the month, Steve had more consistent energy, better digestion, and a clearer mind during his afternoon reading time. His doctor even noted a slight improvement in his A1C levels. And don't worry, this blend is easy to prepare. Just brew your usual cup of coffee. While it's still hot, add 1 teaspoon of MCT oil and 1/8 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon. Use a hand frother or blender if you prefer a smooth, creamy texture. The taste is warm, rich, and slightly sweet, even without sugar. More importantly, it works. This blend supports the 3 things that matter most as you age: metabolic health, cognitive function, and energy that doesn't quit by noon. It's not a fad. It's a focused choice backed by science and by the experience of countless older adults who simply made their coffee smarter. So the next time you brew your cup, ask yourself, is this helping my body or just a habit? Because with just two small additions, your coffee can become more than just a drink. After everything we've just walked through, one truth stands out. Coffee is not the enemy. It never was. The real problem isn't the coffee itself, but the way we prepare it, what we mix into it, and how little we consider its long-term effects on an aging body. Because let's face it, most people over 60 drink coffee the way they always have. Same pot, same creamer, same sweetener. For decades, it's habit, comfort, and routine. And that's completely understandable. But here's the shift I want you to consider. What if your morning coffee could do more than wake you up? What if it could protect your joints, sharpen your mind, ease your digestion, and stabilize your energy without a single pill? That's not fantasy. It's what happens when you choose wisely. Instead of flavored instant mixes that spike blood sugar and wear down your system, you now know the power of clean, organic Arabica. Instead of sugary creamers that fuel inflammation, you've seen how MCT oil and cinnamon can turn coffee into metabolic support. And instead of treating coffee like a guilty pleasure, you've learned it can become one of the most valuable tools in your wellness plan. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Every year after 60 matters, every habit compounds, every choice adds up. And the best part? You don't have to give anything up. You still get your coffee. You just make it smarter. I've seen the difference in my own patients. The ones who make these small upgrades report more than just better lab results. They report confidence, clarity, a renewed sense of control over their mornings and their health. Because when you start the day strong, everything else follows. So now it's your move. Will your next cup be the same old habit or a better step forward? If today's video gave you a new way to think about your morning coffee, share it with someone you care about. And if you've already made one of these upgrades, let us know in the comments what difference you've noticed. We're building a space for smart, empowered aging, and your experience could help someone else take their first step. So hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and keep joining us for more simple, science-backed ways to stay strong. One cup, one choice at a time.